Good morning. Afternoon.
Hello.
How's everybody doing today?
It is the return of the Skeeter Show, or the first Skeeter Show podcast, formerly known as the Skeeter and Rix Podcast, where we talk smack, we give you the facts. We're back. We got a different setup here. I'm joined here with my boy Vinny.
Nice to meet you all. Looking forward to putting on a good show time and time again with you guys.
Hell yeah, brother. First of many. But yeah, for a lot of you guys who aren't familiar, we used to be the Skeeter and Rix Podcast. Rix is formerly no longer with us. He is alive, but not
here.
Not here. So yeah, if you're a fan of that show, we're kind of branching off of that. We had one video, 2,000 views, about Nancy Pelosi's tits. Shout out to those. And we're here to just do it again, and it's gonna be a good time. So, a little about myself. My name's Skeeter. Nickname came from Noski, turned into Noskito, and now to Skeeter, and that is what originated that name, and basically started this whole thing. But anyways, yeah, we're just going to get into it, and we're going to have a good, it is currently this September 25th, 2024. We got a lot of crazy shit going on. It's actually my fucking birthday tomorrow.
Let's go. So I'm drinking today.
Fuck yeah.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. I got to work, otherwise I'll be drinking. But yeah, a little about myself. I grew up in a trailer park, went to college, became an environmental engineer, and now we're trying to take cow shit and make diesel fuel out of it. I like to have a good time, get fucked up. I love comedy, and that's pretty much all about me.
Little about myself, Vinny, born and raised in Wisconsin. Go Brew Crew, go Packers, go Bucks, go Badgers. Not a very exciting job like this smart engineer over here. I do flooring for a living. But if you guys like us, maybe I won't have to anymore.
Hell yeah. We're always looking for new guests, too. We'll have to fucking get this punching bag on the pod one time.
Oh, well, Schlendy come put on a clinic.
Fuck some shit up. But anyways, let's just fucking dive right into it. So we want, the intention here is we're going to have like good, like comedy, make people laugh. We also want people to kind of like maybe think deeply or maybe, get something inspirational. So one big question that everyone, always has is, I don't know why my brain went to this today, but is like religion. Like, what do you think of religion? Like, do you, do you acknowledge a certain thing? Do you think it's bullshit? Do you just give me your thoughts? Let's jump into you quick.
Oh my gosh. My take on religion. Don't buy into it. I used to. Growing up, my parents brought me to several different religions. I kind of got to test the waters with Catholicism, Lutheran, a lot of different varieties of that. Jehovah's Witness for a little while. That was probably one of the, I don't want to say bizarre. I'm not hating on their beliefs at all, but one of the more out there ones. I just don't buy into it.
So your parents kind of like pushed it on you a little bit in certain ways?
A little bit. My dad's still a believer. My mom is not. My mom's more like a spiritualist. Like,
yeah.
Whatever you want to take out of that.
I'd say that's more my view too. Like, I only had it like pushed on me a little bit. Like, but my dad took me to church like a few times. Like, I can count on one hand probably.
Yeah.
But like I kind of more think of it as more as like, okay, like it does at least provide a framework for good morals, like how to be a good, like a kind of like a structure or like code. Like, okay, like don't fucking. Kill
I get what you're saying. The morals are there. The general theme that I picked up on is to just golden rule shit. Like love one another, treat others as you treat yourself. I think in my experience, like specifically in the New Testament, there's a lot of good values in there to learn from. Old Testament gets a little sketchy at times. They can do a lot of wild shit in that one. But
and I haven't even read like either of them through.
I was very religious when I was locked up in jail. I was a jail believer. They always, if you've ever heard that term, people go to jail, they get into the Bible. That was this guy. I read through a bunch of different literature, gathered a lot from it, but still, I just can't fathom that we're the only ones in this universe. I can't fathom that the world is the way it is today because God wants it to be that way.
That's always a crazy theory I've had. Not to get to the topic too much, but like, what if like, because it's all you always hear like Christianity, Muslim, and Judaism. They all kind of are very similar but different. They believe in like God or whatever being a different person. But like, I always wonder if there was like, what if it was just like three dudes hanging out and an alien fucking visited them and they're like, and they all saw the same thing but told the story differently.
Perceived it a little differently maybe.
Yeah, and then that just fucking branched off to what it is today.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, like if an alien came by and he was fucking had crazy ass technology of whatever, and you'd be like, holy fuck, that's...
Yeah, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years ago, when you see that, it's God.
Yeah,
it's God. Like, how else do you explain it?
They didn't have like a concept of like what an alien actually is, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, they're going a little bit further off topic. You look back at like Egyptian culture and some of the hieroglyphics you find on walls depict what looks to be what we call UFOs coming down and greeting the locals and playing a hand in the advancement of their society.
Right, yeah, like they definitely got different knowledge. Well, the thought is they got different knowledge from something else to be able to even... Because the crazy thing is like we don't even know how they really built something like that, which is kind of like the craziest part. I mean, I hear a lot of people talking about, like, oh, it was like a fucking... you know, like power plant potentially.
Right.
Let's ask ChatGPT, what's the power plant?
There we go.
Fucking pyramid theory.
I thought you were going to say ask Google.
Well, everything's got freaking AI now anyways, yeah. Pyramid power theory, energy source. This refers to an idea popularized in the 1970s that pyramids, especially those with proportions similar to the Great Pyramid of Giza, have a mysterious ability to generate or concentrate energy. They believe that they could act like power plants, harnessing cosmic or natural energies. This here is no basis, was New Age spiritualism, pseudoscience. Power plant, yeah. Because, like, they were saying, yeah, like it was something to do with, like, the limestone or something, like...
Okay.
That it could like,
and the limestone, that's the primary thing it's made
like,
out of.
It was like the energy could get like transferred through the let's see what it says, like through the limestones, like how it was like energy generating design. Some proponents claim that the outer casting was made from Tura limestone, which is highly polished. They argue that the material acted as an electrical insulator, preventing energy from dissipating outside of the pyramid. That's interesting.
This is going backtracking off the pyramids a little bit, but like, what if religion just stems from one guy? Super smart, super charismatic. It was just like, all right, I need a little bit of money. I need a little bit of following. I went on a little power trip, and he just did exactly that, manipulated the masses. And then one person seeing that happen with the base story does the same thing, carries on to the time 2, time 3, time 4 getting told. And here we are today, 700 million different religions or whatever. That's Not at all. I don't know for.
And I see a lot of people like argue that because like there is a very like cult like thing with religion where it's like, you know, they'll just believe whatever pastors, like you see these mega churches and stuff.
Oh, dude. When I was living in Phoenix, I think it's Joel Osteen has a mega church down there. Dude, it's insane. It's bigger than a mansion, dude. It's like a stadium. Like you would go watch a concert there, dude. It's huge. Yeah. It blew my mind.
Yeah, but it's like, it's all about, you know, for those guys are making fucking, like Joel Osteen is a fucking millionaire. Like,
yeah, hand over fist, dude.
Yeah, let's see how much he's worth. $100 million.
Yeah, that's not chump change.
No,
that's not chump change for just preaching the word of God. Respect, get your money, bud. Look up how many people can be seated in these super churches.
How many people fit in the biggest megachurch? Yodo Full Gospel Church, 12,000 people in a single service.
Dear Lord.
That's crazy.
That's a mass of people coming together to praise Jesus.
Yeah, and like, I get, like, some people say, well, I don't want to, like, push beliefs. Like, let's say you have kids and stuff. It's like, well, you know, I don't want to, like, push them to, like, believe a certain thing or, like, fall into, like, that cult-like mentality. But at the same time, it's like, it's a good way to instill good values in your kids, that it's like something that's like, well, and it's since it is supposed to be like the deeper meaning, like that makes you hold more to it, because like, yeah, you bring up like the golden rule and like all that stuff's good and stuff, but it's like when you're really going through tough times, how do you stay true to that,
stay the course, overcome the adversity, right?
So I can see it from both ways.
Yeah, and like if I ever have kids, I'll happily introduce them, let them decide for themselves.
Right.
That's kind of how it was for me, so I would like to continue that. If they want to believe, more power to them. If my dad wants to get to them and they believe Grandpa, more power to them. You know, I've got nothing wrong with that.
Right.
It just ain't for me.
Yeah. It is interesting though, because it's like, let's say you said at one point you were very into it. And and for me, that's kind of like the same, like the only times I was like the most into it, I guess you could say, is when I was like going through the roughest times.
Rock bottom style.
Yeah.
That's exactly where I felt it most. And it's like the saying, you know, people only are religious when they're at their worst and they need something from him. But true believers are devout throughout all periods of their life. Yeah. And to be that into it, I mean, I admire it. I respect it for sure. That's a lot of dedication. Go to church every Sunday. Football's on. Yeah. I don't know, dude.
Go Pack.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it is interesting because then it's like, you know, I'm more of the belief too. It's like I don't necessarily believe in like a God or this and that, but I do kind of believe in like the force, like the force of the universe kind of pushing everything in a certain direction. Like we keep making better phones, better this, better that, and we're like naturally kind of like progressing towards something.
I think I use the universe as what I would define as God regularly. You put good out into the universe, you more likely to receive good. But it's kind of on the lines of karma as well, you know, do good things happen.
Yeah.
And there's just so many different factors. But like with the way this world is today, with all these issues we have, somebody fucked up, dude.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have the good without the bad. But it's like, how is it all going to shake out? Is it going to be fucking good, or is it going to end up bad, you know? And it's like, it could probably go either way. And that kind of makes me think of like, well, is there like multiple, you know, the thoughts of like multiple universes simultaneously? I forget what they call that.
Multiverse theory.
Yeah. And it's like if we're just in one of those, and then it could be
an entirely different world. One leap over. Yeah.
Like you know, drinking a Twisted Tea versus a fucking Bud Light or whatever. And
right. Like, I'm not allergic to beer in the next universe. That guy's living it up.
Right. And like, how is that all going to play out? I don't know. I think ultimately you just kind of, like you said, put good into the universe and like be hopeful that, you know, things work out. And it is interesting because it's like, it's a collective thing. Because like when you think of like, when they built the pyramids and stuff, well, everyone had to be almost in this same wavelength or like on the same page.
Well, to an extent, it was a lot of slave work too.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Unfortunately. But like the people in charge of getting those pyramids built, the pharaohs and the higher ups in that society, yeah, you got to kind of be on the same wavelength. Like, Pharaoh wants a giant pyramid. How are we going to do it? Okay, we're going to do some shady shit. We're going to get all these slaves, and then we're going to, you know, set up this whole network, because it just had to be massive. It had to be a grand network of people, contraptions, tools, like a whole operation, building a skyscraper.
And you kind of have to trust them to get it done right to a certain degree. It's like kind of like anything. Like if you build something and, you know, some of the teams like, well, I'm not fucking into this. And then, well, then the whole project's kind of probably not turn out as intended or as good.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I don't think a single one of the pharaohs who had the tombs built lived to see it completed. Like when they died, I'm pretty sure they were stored somewhere, and then pyramids finished, and down the line they just got added to the secret tomb or whatever. I could be totally wrong on that.
No pharaoh is known to have lived to completion of their pyramid. Yeah,
that's wild. That's a project. I've got this idea. I'm gonna
20 years.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this crew of people in charge of it, and when I die, please don't quit. Just stay the course, finish this pyramid.
Yeah, so they had to have either been like, I think like very convinced or like convicted. So but then it's like, how did they, you know, if you're just I guess, yeah.
And I don't know this for a fact off the top of my head either, but I think a lot of the pharaohs were revered as gods in the Egyptian religion. So that's a good enough reason for a devout follower to finish the job, I guess.
Yeah, like were they gods or prophets, I wonder. Yeah, they were revered as gods.
Frickin' King Tut, whatever his full name was. I don't remember how to pronounce it, but yeah, they were gods, and that just shows what people do for religion, for their beliefs. You know, people move mountains, people build pyramids.
Yeah, it's interesting, but it's like to convince someone like that, it's like you said, you have to be very like either just like really charismatic or show some kind of like proof of like magical something, then you're like, holy fuck, well, I gotta, like, this is legit, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know how they did it. It's charisma, manipulation, probably a little bit. Maybe some good magic tricks, good party tricks. Just really went the course, dude. Thumbs getting pulled off up in this.
Torture. But it's weird because it's almost like if you were using like fear and like slave and stuff, it's like, well, it's like they're probably not gonna do it to the T and get it done.
You would think they're not gonna put their all into it.
Yeah. How did they do it? Stone quarrying. How did they transport the stones? Sledges, wooden sleds.
I feel like I've heard it was they
Building
may have
ramps.
invented or utilized like pulley systems. I don't remember if they invented it or not, but like, pulley systems were, even at that age, if they weren't the ones who invented it, a fairly new invention, I would imagine.
Yeah, I'd say, I don't know. It's one of those things. It's like, it's probably like my number one place I want to visit. 'Cause I just want to like just see it for myself and
That would be
like,
cool.
and then think like, okay, like, could they do? Because now it's almost like you hear people talk today. It's like, well, they couldn't even really do it with today's
Right.
technology, which is really just the craziest fucking part.
That's part of what really sells me on the aliens.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's so weird just thinking, like, even looking at the stars sometimes. It's like, even the other night, I'm sitting outside, I'm fucking looking at the stars, and, like, you see, like, fucking, it looks like a star, but it's, like, moving and shit like that. Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. It's like, is this a satellite? Is it not? Am I crazy?
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, the first time I ever saw Elon Musk's Starlink satellites get sent up,
Yeah.
I had no idea what they looked like. If you don't know, it's just a line. It's like a string of satellites. And I walked outside of work. I was down in Phoenix, and I just see 15 lights traveling
As
across
they're
the sky.
launching them and
Yeah,
that's
and I had
wild.
no clue. So I'm sitting in the parking lot. I'm videotaping it with my phone. Some guy pulls up to me. He's like, "What are you looking at?" And I didn't say a word. I just pointed.
It's a UFO, dude.
He looks at me and goes, "Dude, I've been reading a lot about aliens lately. This is freaky." And I'm like, I don't know how else to explain it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, that's kind of where our head always goes if we don't have, like, an explanation for it.
Oh, yeah. I also want it to be aliens. I want to be right
It's
about
exciting.
that. Yeah, it's very exciting.
You know?
Whether they're coming to help, coming to kill, coming to be neutral, whatever it is. If I see it in my lifetime, I'll be happy. They come to slaughter us all? Well, it was a good run, humanity. We had our fun.
Yeah, and it's like, you hear the one story where they're like, when they were about to launch, like, what was it, like, the nukes and stuff, and then there was, like, the reports of witnesses, like, seeing, like, they had the malfunctions and the shutdowns.
When was this? I don't know if I'm familiar with this story.
It says 1967 at Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana, where a group of Air Force officers claimed that UFOs caused a series of nuclear missiles to suddenly go offline, rendering them inoperative.
Oh, shit.
Like, they almost showed up and were like, hey, you guys, like, we see these fucking monkeys or, like, maybe baby aliens or whatever you think it is, and they're like, all right, we can't let them fucking launch those into space.
They're
and,
gonna
like,
fuck some shit up.
Seriously,
we gotta keep these humans in check. These advanced monkeys in check.
Yeah, notable incidents was that one. 1964, Vandenberg Air Force Base. A missile test was allegedly filmed by tracking systems, and UFO was seen interfering with the missile in flight. 1980,
Wow.
strange lights and unexplained phenomena. In this instance, has been called Britain's Roswell. Interesting.
Have you heard about the pill alien story?
Oh.
The Air Force guys are out on a routine mission or something, if I
video?
recall.
Yeah.
And it's this pill-shaped object that's like sitting upright, and they go to pursue it, and it takes off incredible speeds, and they're like, where'd it go? And then next thing they know, it's shooting straight up, and then it's shooting straight down into the ocean.
Yeah.
And the people who were flying the planes, some of the pilots came out and said, like, I've never seen nothing like it. Like, I don't think it's human technology. Like, it's way beyond what I think any country on this planet has.
To be able to dive in. Yeah, and like how it goes straight into the water like that.
Full speed, dead stop, straight up and down. Like, yeah, we don't have nothing that can do maneuvers like that.
It says they tracked him for several days before the encounter.
Okay.
And they had 2 fighter jets. David Fravor, yep, so it's the same one. Hovering over the ocean, creating some kind of disturbance in the water below. When he tried to approach it, it accelerated instantly and disappeared at incredible speed.
Incredible speed.
Rapid acceleration, instantaneous changes in direction, the ability to hover and quickly shoot off.
That's coming from a fighter pilot. Operating some of the fastest man-operated vehicles known on our planet.
Well, and the weird thing is there's no visible means of propulsion, like no wings, no rotors, no exhaust plumes.
Right.
It's like how to generate that that like energy. Because you always hear
aliens.
Well, what is was Bob Lazar, like when you ever hear about Bob Lazar?
I have heard about Bob Lazar.
He like worked on these,
he worked at Area 51, right? Didn't he?
Yeah.
If I recall, he was trying to like reconstruct shit from the Roswell crash.
Basically, like back engineer.
Yeah, reverse engineer it. Yeah.
Area 51. Yeah, it's actually called S4. But he was saying it's like, he said this, they had this like dark matter, like dark energy that was like powering these. Element 115.
Yeah, element 115, that's right.
A stable isotope of element 115, yeah. Because I think it's like, if it's not stable, it's just like rapidly decays, like some other element, like radioactive shit that we have. Yeah, unstable decays rapidly. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. I think there's way too many people who come from sectors of our government and military who are coming out, now it's a lot of these people are older, coming out years later, decades later, and saying, this is something I saw. Like, there's way too much evidence for me not to believe it.
Yeah. Well, it's hard because, like, a lot of the, you hear all these testimonies and, some people, it's like, okay, well, maybe they were just seeing stuff or this and that. But then it's like, the hard part is, like, there's just no, like, we had the pill video, the one you're talking about and stuff like that. But it's like, everyone, it's hard to fully believe it without some kind of shred of
evidence,
photo, video.
Yeah, character
kind
testimony.
Same thing with religion, really.
Exactly. That's why I feel like religion and the alien conversation kind of go hand in hand, because they both kind of butt with each other. The ideas clash a little bit. And a lot of religion, a lot of ones that I experience, it's a belief that we are the sole living factor of this universe.
Right, that there's not something out there that's like greater and more powerful than us. But I mean, there has to be kind of like something greater than us, obviously, if it's like, if they got the information to build the pyramids, or it's like, it's almost like, where do ideas come from? Yeah.
So I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Paul. It's with Seth Rogen plays the alien, and then it's the guys from Shaun of the Dead. They're doing a tour of the country of America to alien hotspots, and they find an alien. And at one point in this movie, the alien, Seth Rogen, Paul, says, "Why do you think you have iPhones, computers, all this technology? Why do you think all of a sudden there's this massive boom in the technology industry starting back in like the 20s, 30s-ish? And the reason he gives in the movie is because he's the alien who's been guiding the government and guiding humanity and improving our lives and helping us develop all this technology.
Giving you bits and bits of information. So you can like build the shit. Yeah, it is interesting how like the first airplane, like to go from that to what we have now in a span of, like 50 years.
Technology has always been improving at a fairly consistent rate. And then in the past 100 years, the rate at which it's improving has skyrocketed.
Yeah, like the first Wright brothers, that was 1903. So that's only, 120 years.
Yeah.
And now just like
you get across the world in a day.
With, you can fly at the speed of sound or
right,
whatever. And now it just seems like everything is just kind of pushing towards this like AI thing, which is like almost like its own life form in a weird.
It is kind of, and that's why people are so scared of it.
Yeah, it's like, are we creating this thing that is itself an alien in a weird way?
It is kind of alien because it's not human, but it's like another living being. It's not a living being, but if movies have taught us anything,
right, it could potentially. I mean, but then it's like, what constitutes something being a living being? Is it, does it have to be conscious? Like plants are a
soul,
good example.
Right.
Like plants can like talk to each other and do stuff like that, but it's like, is it actually conscious?
Right,
life?
right.
And then the same question is kind of for AI. Like, is it actually? I don't think it's there yet, but like, will it get to a point where then it's an actual like conscious thing that thinks about itself? Yeah.
Yeah. And knowing where it comes from and knowing everything that's ever been put out on the internet and seeing what we are doing in this world as human beings, like, what is it really going to think about that? What is it going to think about itself?
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
Because, I mean, yeah, it is a computer, so it is like how you program it to a certain degree. I don't know. It makes you wonder, like, are we just fucking programmed?
Dude, we might be, dude. We might be. I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Like, it might have been you even, but we might be, just some science project that another life form did in science class and in a petri dish, and we're sitting on a shelf somewhere in a science class.
Yeah.
A day to them is centuries for us, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because it kind of comes back to like, your time, and like that's, your most valuable resource, I think. And like, we only have such a finite amount, and it's, really like invaluable. But like for them, if they've lived centuries,
right?
Like that's a whole nother evaluation of time.
Their concept of time is entirely different than ours, and we would never know it. They would never know it. Maybe they would know it. I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Like, with that's how fast everything else is moving. Like, we're probably gonna get there soon, where it's gonna be super freaking smart. And then you have the whole concern about like jobs and
and I feel like with the AI, sure, certain jobs are going to be taken away, but also other jobs get created, right?
Yeah.
Because somebody's got to be able to manage, maintain, program, all this stuff that people are already doing would probably become a more mainstream job.
Yeah.
If AI is taking over more menial tasks that humans are currently doing.
You can use it to save time and do your job better, for sure.
And your job could just be, all right, just make sure it's doing that job.
Yeah, program the AI to like do it right or whatever. Because it definitely saves you like a lot of time.
Right.
It makes life easier.
When I'm Googling something now, I don't even have to click on website most of the time. I just see what Google AI says and boom.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
That's what I go with. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm like, look, that's what I'm using right now. I like ChatGPT.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Same concept. ChatGPT really kind of kicked it off, right?
Yeah, it was like the first like big one.
That and what was the one? The first one I ever used was like a Dolly or whatever, where you type in like a prompt and then it generates a set amount of photos or something.
Picture.
Yeah. I think it was Dolly, like Dalle.
I think that was the first one that came out that could actually generate images. Because now it's like ChatGPT can do that too.
Right.
Which is pretty wild.
ChatGPT might have bought it out, to be honest.
It could be.
Yeah.
Another concern is that AI could inadvertently cause harm by pursuing its objectives too efficiently. For example, an AI system designed to optimize a process might find ways to achieve its goals that are harmful to humans or the environment simply because it was not programmed to take ethical considerations into account.
Ethics.
And I think that's one thing, like Elon talks about too. It's like, well, you have to kind of program, like all that kind of has to get, programmed in.
Right. Like, all right, AI, we know humans aren't the most ethical of creatures at times, and maybe you see a way to save this planet.
Right.
And maybe that theory or maybe that plan is to get rid of humans, but don't think like that.
Right. You have to hard code in like, hey, don't kill all the humans, basically.
Please.
Like
say please, use your manners.
Terminator crap.
Yeah.
But that'll be it. But it's interesting because it's like, okay, well, it's up to us to program the AI to not do crazy stuff, but humans are naturally imperfect. Like
you got that right.
We all mess stuff up all the time. So it's gonna, you hear, or like, you always hear stuff like, like when the other month when like all the flights were grounded because of a coding error. Right. Like stuff like that happens all the time. So it's like, I think it's going to be very hard.
Oh, that sucked. We had to drive back from North Carolina instead of fly back because of that shit.
Oh, you were there for that?
Yeah, we were there on vacation.
That sucks. Yeah, it was like a whole day. I think everyone was
dude.
Dude, flying sucks.
Yeah.
I definitely don't miss that as much.
But it's also so convenient.
Oh, yeah. It's great.
It sucks, but it's also the most convenient way to travel.
Yeah, it opens up new possibilities. Like back, where you're going to take your fucking horse and buggy all the way to North Carolina every freaking 2 days. Like,
All right, honey, kids, hold down the fort for the summer. I'm going to North Carolina. It'll take me 4 months to get there.
8 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also interesting, too, like you see when you're at an airport and you just see like the different walks of people and just like, I don't know. There's a weird sense I get. Like, almost like I just like feel connected.
Dude, are you a people watcher at all?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, like that's I would consider myself a people watcher, and I'm walking into the airport. I'm walking up to the bar first. I'm getting a drink, and I'm thinking, all right, what are all you fuckers up to?
Or like you're getting off the plane, and then like some people like it's one thing if you're like, all right, you're gonna be late for your next flight or whatever. You
got to move to that layover. Yeah.
But then there's sometimes there's like, all right, people are just getting up and they're like, fuck everyone else. I'm pushing to the front.
Oh my God. My ex was sick. We took a trip to Florida from Phoenix, and she was sick on our way back. And we did that, and I was super uncomfortable with it. But she's like, I have to get off this plane right now. So we got up as soon as we landed and bolted to the front.
Yeah.
And you just feel the eyes on you. And I'm like, I'm sorry, she's sick.
It's all right, I promise. It's not me. I'm not a bad person.
No, I love you, dear. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It does kind of, it tells a lot about people, though, I guess, in a weird way. But that's the beauty of flying.
Yeah.
I don't miss it, though. Yeah, I used to travel a lot for work. I fly twice a week. It's just like...
I feel like you travel a lot now in your day-to-day life. But yeah, flying twice a week for work, that's a whole nother level.
Driving, yeah, is a whole nother beast for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, my coworker was talking to me. He's like, yeah, like you hear, and I don't know if this is true or not, but like when you go up that high, you're above a certain level of the atmosphere, which protects you from like the radiation and stuff in space. So there's like he's saying, like there's all these incidences of like all these pilots having fucked up like sicknesses and
really
shit. Yeah.
unfamiliar with this.
Let's look it up. Yeah, because it's like, I mean, it kind of makes sense.
I mean, most everybody flies, but pilots who are doing it all day, every day for work, they're exposed to whatever it may be tenfold.
Yeah. It says radiation exposure at higher altitudes above 30,000 feet. There's less atmospheric protection from cosmic radiation. Over time, airline pilots and frequent flyers may be exposed to higher levels of cosmic radiation than people on the ground. It's still within limits, but over a course of a career, it might face significantly increased risk of cancer due to the prolonged exposure to radiation.
Oh my gosh.
That's wild.
Getting off the plane, you're saying thank you to the pilot. Thank you for getting us here safely. Thank you for doing your job. And also thank you for accepting the risk of cancer at an exponential rate compared to the rest of us.
Same thing, yeah, with even like astronauts too.
Oh, well, yeah, they're really... I mean, they're not traveling into that danger zone as often, right? But they're also spending far more time
for
up
longer.
there.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. I think I wanted to be an astronaut at one point.
I don't know what young man doesn't want to be an astronaut at some point, right?
Well, now everyone wants to just be a freaking social media person.
Influencers.
Yeah, it's crazy how like
as we're here making a podcast.
Yeah, true.
I get it.
I don't know. For me, I just love like expressing my like creative side and like putting something out there because like I don't know. I think, and I was talking about this the other day. It's like if you want to be a happy like man, you have to focus on different aspects of life. Like I think you have to physically work. You have to be like feel like you have purpose in your career, but then I feel like you also have to kind of use your creative side in some degree.
Use your creative side, find a hobby, enjoy that hobby. I get what you're saying for sure. That's why I was so psyched to come on today.
Yeah, I was like, I used to love doing this. Shout out to the Skeeter and Rix Podcast because like you just feel good about doing it. You know, like,
absolutely
I'm putting something out there that's fun to do, and it's, you know, it uses your creative brain muscle, I guess.
Right. Flex that brain. Get your gym workout on and get your mental sweat on.
Yeah.
No, I like it, dude. I'm very excited to be here today.
Oh, yeah, dude. Thanks for coming, bro. Cheers to that one.
Cheers to that. That might even warrant a shot.
Hell yeah. Take a shot. Why not?
Oh.
Turn it up on the pod.
If the reactors fail, don't post this.
Delete.
Delete. Dr. Cherry, wash it down with coffee. You are an animal. You are an animal.
Thanks, dude. What about you? If you had pick one vacation spot to see, where would it be?
Fuck, that's a good one. I've always...
Any country.
Egypt, I will say, has always been up there for me. Australia's one of the ones that's kind of up there for me. Although I know they're not really a fan of tourists out there because it's one of the most deadly animals. Like
you get mobbed by a kangaroo.
Spiders, kangaroos, hugger snakes. Like the deadliest of fucking animals live in Australia.
You get kicked in the face.
Actually, you know what I'd really like to see is New Zealand would be cool. That or a million other places, but Ireland I would like to see because I got a lot of Irish heritage.
Same. What's the coolest thing to see in New Zealand? The eighth wonder of the world. Milford Sound is a stunning, I didn't even know this word, Fjord?
Fjord. Fjord.
Yeah.
Fjord.
Towering cliffs, majestic waterfalls. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know some people who just went, they used to have a foreign exchange student. They're in their 50s.
Yeah.
So they used to have a foreign exchange student, and they went to visit her in New Zealand, and the pictures and shit were beautiful. And obviously, it's like any place, pictures don't do it true justice.
Yeah.
I got to see the Grand Canyon already. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Sedona is better. I will say that to anybody. Go to Sedona, see the Red Rocks. The Grand Canyon is great. Go see it for sure. But you're going to want to revisit the Red Rocks in Sedona, Arizona. It's so gorgeous.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Arizona.
It was pretty cool. I had a good time out there for 2 years.
What made you want to go out there originally?
Well, my girlfriend lived down there. That's why I moved there. And well, we had a ton of fun.
Yeah.
And then we broke up, and you know, it is what it is. Like, I could have stayed down there. I had a job I loved. It's so much more expensive to live there than it is here in Wisconsin.
Really?
And like, other than her and her family and the friends I had made in 2 years, I didn't really know anyone.
Yeah.
So I came home.
I think it's tough too. Like, yeah, it's like I've thought about moving to other places for jobs and stuff. Like, I thought about like Texas and stuff. Like, I could go maybe work for like Tesla or something. That'd be really cool. But then it's like, once you're like over like 25, it's like, well, now I'm not. It's harder to like make new friends because you're kind of like, when you're young and like in college, like that's what you're, or even just if you're just at that age, like that's kind of what you're supposed to do, and that just kind of comes more naturally.
I get what you're saying. Like, I consider myself someone who's really good at talking to people, getting to know people, but moving across the country into a new state, it's not like I was different, but the whole culture is different down there.
Yeah.
So, like, the way I talk with you and with friends and with strangers here in Wisconsin, it just didn't go over as well in Arizona.
People were kind of like,
to some extent,
take as kindly to it.
Yeah, I would say, like, granted, I lived in Phoenix, big city, definitely a little more on the progressive end of the scale. But, you know, not that that's a bad thing or whatever, but yeah, I don't know. It was just like, there's a lot of snowbirds and shit, but it's all old people. And I love old people. I get along with old people better than most people my age, to be honest.
Right.
But
can learn a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
What about you? I know you said Egypt. Where else would you like to visit?
I've always thought like Costa Rica, and I'm like, I don't even know why now, but like, just mainly because of like, you know, the scenery and stuff. Like, I mean, my last job, I spent a lot of time in like upstate New York. I saw like Niagara Falls.
Nice.
And you see all like those cool waterfalls, stuff like that, and stuff like that's always been cool. Like, you know, I've been in Colorado, seen like the mountains and stuff like that. But I don't know, man. For me, it's more like, I think the pyramids are it, just because I'm like, there's all this question, like, did they actually do it, or was it something else? And that's what I'm like, well, I kind of want to just see that with my own two eyes and be like, okay, could I see people actually possibly doing this or not? Because like you said, like the picture just doesn't do it justice.
Like, you know it's big, but until you're there looking up at it, you don't really grasp it.
And how like clean the rocks are cut and stuff like that.
Right.
And like how it's, you hear like, oh, it's exactly positioned perfectly north to south at this latitude, this longitude, and like all this
how
crazy
in the hell?
stuff.
Right, for sure.
And I think that'd just be good to like see for yourself, judge for yourself. I don't know. But then it's like, it's almost like you, like just moving like Arizona or Texas, wherever. It's like you want something different. Like everyone's like, oh fucking, everyone that lives here is like, I hate Wisconsin. It's terrible.
Yeah, we were just talking about
got its problems.
Everywhere has its problems. Absolutely. One of the big ones here, we were just talking about this today at work, is like seasonal depression. Yeah. In the winter, dude, it's so hard. Like if you're not into winter sports like sledding, riding, skiing, snowboarding, it's it can be pretty dreary.
You kind of just hang. I mean, that's why I think bars are so big here.
We like to drink.
You're like, well, there's not much else to do. Let's head to a bar. I mean,
And
more
even
bars
when
than
you
anywhere.
even when you do other things than drink in Wisconsin, it's just another reason to drink.
Yeah,
like
golf.
I love ice fishing. I go every winter, all winter. It's a great reason to drink.
Yeah.
Fucking golf, great reason to drink. Frisbee golf, great reason to drink. Fucking everything's a good reason to drink in Wisconsin.
I mean, yeah, it makes you wonder, like, even in the summer, it's like that, too. And it's like, do other states drink that much on golf outings, or is that a Wisconsin?
I mean, I feel like some areas probably do. Like for Phoenix, for instance, huge golf scene in Phoenix. They hold the Open there, like every year or something. They hold the Open there. Maybe not every year. I don't know that for sure. I'm not really a big golfer.
Yeah.
But
I usually just go to drink.
But people go exactly. People get hammered there. But I feel like on all the courses on a regular basis, if you're not like a snowbird, you're probably not drinking quite as much. In Arizona, they have a 0 tolerance drinking limit for driving.
Yeah.
If you blow a .01, you get a DUI.
Anything?
Yeah. It's a 0 tolerance.
Yeah, a lot
Wisconsin,
of
we give you leeway. A beer, maybe even 2 beers, depending on how you drink. Like,
yeah, it's definitely becoming more or less acceptable, like, as it should. Like, you don't want to like crash into people and stuff like that. Like, it's bad, but like, it's been more laxed.
Yeah. I don't. Drinking and driving is a terrible thing to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But if you had one with dinner and you're going home, you're fine.
Yeah,
right?
you're having
like, you're not gonna
a fish fry with like a brandy old fashioned, which
Yeah.
I realize that's like a Wisconsin only thing too.
old fashions and fish fries.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
big.
brandy old fashioned too. Like everywhere else just does like a whiskey old fashioned.
See, I'm a whiskey old fashioned kind of guy.
I like
personally.
I was always more of a whiskey old fashioned. Then it's weird when you realize it's like, oh, that's a Wisconsin thing. And then it makes you want it more.
Yeah, it kind of makes you like it a little bit more.
Like, I never really liked Spotted Cow, and then until I was, like, working in New York all the time, and then I'm like, oh, you can only get this in Wisconsin, and I can't get it here.
No, it tastes better.
And now I get back, I'm like, wow, I just really want a Spotted Cow, and I used to never like it just because it's like the exclusivity almost.
I felt that with Friday fish fries. Every single restaurant, basically, the entire state, Friday fish fry specials. I went to Arizona. I went out to eat on a Friday, like when I first got down there, and I'm like, "You got any fish specials?" And they're like, "Why?"
They don't even have it.
I'm like, "What do you mean, why? It's Friday."
Yeah,
it's a Wisconsin thing. I'm sure we're not the only ones to do it, but
yeah,
it's big.
I think even like down south where you're close to the water, like Florida, but then it's almost like. It's like an everyday. Like you go to Florida and you're like,
it's
I can
seafood
get fish
all the time.
anytime.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not like a Friday thing.
Florida is one of the places I would move to if I chose to move from Wisconsin. Like North Carolina, loved it. I would move there. Florida, that's the first place I ever like went as an adult on a vacation, like by myself. I paid for my own vacation. Got in the car with my brother and a buddy. We drove to Miami.
Oh, nice.
Fell in love with it, dude.
Yeah, I remember that was probably my first big vacation. I was only 20, but I went with like my dad and my stepmom. But I was like, I was probably one of the happiest I've been. Because I was like, I would just wake up every morning, start with the shower beer, obviously.
Shower beer for sure.
And then just like longboard up and down the ocean coast for
hit the
like
boardwalk,
a couple hours.
dude. Yeah.
Like you just feel you're like at kind of peace.
Beautiful women left and right. Yeah.
Weather's
dude,
good.
It's so gorgeous. There's something.
But it's kind of like a sense of vacation too, because it's like you're on vacation, so you're like already not thinking
That's
about.
true.
Like if you would do that every day and you live
That's
there,
true.
but now you still have all the thoughts of like work and whatever else.
Tell me you still love Florida when a
it's-
hurricane hits.
Right? Would it still be the same?
Yeah.
But it's all it's always like the sense of something new too. Like like when I do the same thing like just over and over again, the same place, same project, it's just like all right, it just gets freaking old. You gotta
Yeah, it does.
change of pace, you know. There's something to that.
Going to North Carolina for my first time this summer was so good. We went back a couple weeks later for a second trip just this summer. And it was still new, you know, it was still fresh. But living there, yeah, I don't know, you might get sick of it.
Yeah. I think that could be anywhere, though.
Yeah, I agree. That could be
like
anywhere.
Wisconsin is nice. You know, we have still, to a degree, have all 4 seasons, which a lot of places don't have, so you can enjoy.
Oh, dude, absolutely. I missed Wisconsin. Dude, when I was living in Phoenix, I missed Wisconsin. Everything in Phoenix, brown. The buildings, brown. The mountains, brown. Oh, there's a green cactus. Cool. Dude,
Right.
I missed the green.
Trees.
I missed the color of Wisconsin. That was
The trees,
something I really looked forward to coming back to seeing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, my favorite season is definitely, like, the fall, and just seeing, like, all the color of
Hell
the
yeah.
leaves. And, like, upstate New York was a lot like that, too. There's a lot of trees, it reminded me a lot of Wisconsin, but just a lot more hills.
Yeah, dude, but it was New York.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, you went to New York? Yeah, not like New York, New
Not
York.
like New
Or
York, New York.
Bumfuck New York, you know.
Buffalo, New York.
But no, it did remind me a lot of here in a lot of ways. I think it would be cool to see. I'm just looking more at this like New Zealand thing. It's just like the marine wildlife. It's like got whales, dolphins, and all, like I've never seen a dolphin. I think that'd be pretty fucking cool.
That would
It's
be
crazy
pretty cool.
how smart they are.
Oh, dude. They freaking play games with each other. They play catch. You ever see them play catch? Dude, I seen it on like a David Attenborough documentary, and they like it's like sad but cute at the same time. They find fucking garbage in the ocean. One of them runs with like, you know, a fucking bottle holder piece of plastic, you know, the 6 rings.
Yeah.
Runs with it, or should say swims with it, dumps it off. The next one comes, grabs it, swims off, dude. And they
Like they're
play games.
football
Yeah,
and
like
shit.
they play catch and shit.
Yeah.
Super, super smart animals.
Yeah, just how they like vocalize different like clicks and whistles and oh yeah, they have the echolocation too.
Yeah.
There's like a sonar system. That's pretty wild.
I think it's like dolphins and whales are like some of the most communicative animals after humans.
Or octopi.
Octopussies.
Huh? I'm just saying, which one's smarter?
I don't know that it's true, but I feel like I was always told dolphins are like the smartest beings on the planet after humans. I don't know. That could just be urban legend.
They have large, very big brains. But you look at an octopus and you're like, this thing looks like a fucking alien. You know?
They also look like they got big ass brains.
You're like, where the fuck did this thing come from?
Yeah. Well, that's like sea life in general, kind of, right? Like they find like tons of new species in the ocean every single day. Like new fish and different aquatic creatures are getting discovered daily, dude.
Yeah. And it's like, how much of the ocean is even still to be?
We only know, I don't remember the number. Look, you could look up the number of what we've explored. I think it's something like we only know 10% of what's in the ocean. Maybe that's a little lowballing.
Let me see what it says. How much of the ocean? 80% of the ocean is unexplored.
Okay, so we know about 20% of the ocean. That's like so small.
Yeah, and you got these fucking aliens diving in there. Who knows where they're fucking going?
We might see aliens every day in the ocean. We just call them fish.
And they saved all original Atlantis.
That's like the most believable fantasy story right there. Excuse me.
Wild. Well, we're coming up on 1 hour. I suppose we can
wrap it up for the
wrap
day.
it up. talk more about the freaking ocean next time or something.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Oh, yeah, thanks for
Looking
coming
forward
back.
to the next one, dude.
First official episode of the Skeeter Show. Thanks for coming.
We back, baby. Look out, man. Look
Thanks
out,
for
folks.
listening.
Have a good one.
Take care, everyone.